Hi you all, welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, my name is Jasmine and I am a stay-at-home mom and military wife. Most of my videos are focused around like cleaning and organizing around the home, just doing a lot of at-home tasks. But today's video is going to be a little bit different because I am going to address a few things. So again, if you're new here, you probably don't know, but my family and I just moved to Alaska. My husband's in the military and it was a huge transition for us. And I noticed the other day I had a friend from our old duty station who was just kind of asking me questions about the transition and how to get things done. And I realized like none of this information was on the internet for me when we got ready to do our move. So why don't I make a video to help some of the other wives or service members who may be getting ready to PCS to Alaska. So stay tuned and we'll get into some details and even our personal experience with our PCS. I'm going to leave it open for discussion, some questions down below if you need some help or if you have a few questions about some things in particular. I'm going to try to address everything, but mainly the obstacles and successes that we had during our PCS. So again, stay tuned and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so the first thing that I want to address with any PCS to Alaska, okay, it is considered an OCONUS duty station. That's Alaska and Hawaii. So even though both states are still a part of the United States, they're considered OCONUS, which means outside of the continental United States, okay? And I'm thinking it has more so to do with how far away from the continental United States they're located, because of course you can drive or fly to Alaska. Most people that I know have flown. I know some people do drive, but again, we flew, so this is our experience. But yes, Hawaii and Alaska are considered OCONUS duty stations. So there are a few more steps that you have to take along your PCS journey in order to have everything in order for you and your family to actually move, okay? And I feel like that was our biggest mistake. We didn't realize that there were a few extra steps that we needed to take before we started getting things in order or trying to get things in order. So the first thing, you guys, whenever you know you are about to PCS and you kind of have an idea about where you're going, something that I always do, my husband and I always do, is we research the housing at that duty station. So we always go on YouTube, we search the internet for their housing website first. That's first and foremost, because you kind of want to decide, okay, do we want to stay on base or do we want to live off base? So that's the first thing, is researching housing. That is super important. We noticed as we were researching, there was very little information about our particular base on the internet. So we're at Jber, but of course there's two other bases here in Alaska, but we're at Jber, which is really in Anchorage. One thing that I want to say is it's very important when you go on these websites or when you're looking for housing, make sure that you're associating it with the service member's rank, because you kind of don't want to get your hopes up for certain housing that you don't qualify for. So always go through the housing website. For example, I went in, put in my husband's rank, how many dependents he has, which is me and my daughter, and you could see the housing options. So you can kind of research and just see like, okay, these are our options with this rank, these many dependents. Yeah, we want to stay on base, or no, we don't. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, which is so important about any OCONUS PCS, you guys, is command sponsorship. Command sponsorship is one of the things that messed us up so bad when we were trying to get the ball rolling after he had gotten his hard orders. So when he was told that he was being sent to Alaska, you know, we saw in his levy packet that he had to have command sponsorship for his dependents. However, someone informed him that command sponsorship was automatic. So we assume that, okay, once we fill out this form, once he filled out the form, got it signed, got it turned in, he thought command sponsorship was done. Like, he thought that was all he had to do. Unfortunately, that was not the case. So y'all, don't let anyone tell you that command sponsorship is automatic. It doesn't matter what's in DEERS. It doesn't matter if the spouse and children are listed in the service members DEERS. That doesn't matter. In order to get command sponsorship, you have to get a whole plethora of things done before you're approved and put on those orders with your service member. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I do want to also specify that you can't do anything. Like, you can't schedule household goods to come and pack up your home. You can't schedule flights. You cannot get anything done until your dependents have been command sponsorship and that they are on those hard orders, okay? Anything that you can get done without hard orders, go ahead and do it. I would rather try to get it done without hard orders and be told that I can't get it done without those orders rather than waiting. Because I've heard, and this may not be true, this could or could not be true, but I've heard through the grapevine that because of the new paperless system that the military is using, specifically Army, that a lot of hard orders are being held up. Like, it's taking a long time for hard orders to get cut and sent out. I'm not sure how true that is, but I can imagine that that's probably true. If you know, you know, okay? But yes, if there's something that you can get done without those hard orders, get them done, y'all. So with the command sponsorship process, here we go. You have to contact your health clinic or wherever the medical personnel is located on your current duty station. At your current duty station, you have to contact the EFMP coordinator. Luckily, our EFMP coordinator was amazing. She got everything done within 2 weeks for us because, again, we were last minute. We had no idea about this process. So I'm telling you ahead of time so you don't have to go through what we went through. They'll send you some documents that you will have to fill out and return to them. And then you also have to submit some type of physical examination or what do they call it? Check of the body systems document from a physician that you've seen in the past 12 months, you and all other dependents. And also for female spouses, make sure that you have had your pap smear completed within like the past 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, because they want to see that as well. So after you submit all of the documentation, they'll schedule you to come in for an actual physical screening, well, an in-person medical screening, where they'll ask you a series of questions and just kind of observe the other dependents, just to make sure that everything that they see on paper matches what's physically there. So now, we did not have any findings. We didn't need to be enrolled into the EFMP system, so ours kind of was smooth sailing from that point on. So they approved everything in the system. You can see in your portal that everything's been approved. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, they send this information to your gaining duty station and they approve you for command sponsorship, and then they amend the orders. So it literally took us maybe 7 days. Not even that long, y'all. I'm probably exaggerating just to kind of give some wiggle room, but it took about a week for my husband's orders to be amended to include me and my daughter's names. And y'all, the EFMP process is very important because it makes sure that wherever you're going, outside of the country of the United States, or any base for that matter, that there is medical care there specific to your needs. Like, say for example, you may have a dependent who is waiting on a heart transplant. They want to make sure that they're not sending you to a duty station that's not equipped to care for those specific needs, or sending you somewhere where you would be too far in case you are called for a heart transplant or any other type of organ transplant. Just because there may be some type of medical finding does not mean that you'll be automatically denied command sponsorship, sometimes they'll still send you to that duty station based on the availability of those services. It's kind of like the military doing checks and making sure that they're checking everything off the list, making sure that they're sending you somewhere where you can still be cared for and still receive the medical attention that you need and that you deserve. So again, EFMP, it has its pros, it has its cons, but again, you're only in the pits if you wait till the last minute to get the process done. So once you kind of have like a soft verbal order type thing going on, and you know that you're going to this specific Oconus duty station, then I suggest you go ahead and get that EFMP ball rolling, especially coming to Alaska. So after your orders are amended, or even if your service member was super proactive and their command actually helped them get everything done and made sure that everybody was actually on the hard orders before they were cut, then you know you're ahead of the game, and you can go ahead and, well, the service member can go ahead and go to transportation to schedule household goods, to schedule flights and everything else. Their leave, your service member can take leave and all that good stuff. However you all want to make your situation work for you, you can do all that once the hard orders have everybody's names on them. Without it, none of that. Coming to Jber, do not wait until you get those hard orders to put your names on the housing wait list. You will be in TLF for like months waiting on a house. Jber is a high tempo base, lots of people coming in, lots of people coming out. But if you're not on that wait list, then they don't know that they need to have a house ready for you, that they need to be getting housing ready for you. So getting on that wait list is very important. So with our particular experience, I put us on the housing wait list way back in September when we first heard that we were coming to Alaska. I didn't want to wait till the last minute. Again, the first thing we always do is research housing. So I had already gone on the website and I saw that you didn't need hard orders to get on the wait list. I was like, okay, this is my chance. Let's get us on the wait list. If the orders change before they're cut, then great, good. We can always take our names off the wait list, but you can't add your name at the last minute and get ahead. So it helps to go ahead and put your names on the wait list. So again, I did that in September. So 30 days before I knew our arrival date was coming up, I went ahead and called the housing office here at Jber, and I let them know like, hey, we're in our 30-day window. We will be arriving on January 30th. And within that 30-day window, they will start sending you housing offers. So the way Jber works is they'll send you a housing offer based on what you qualify for. You can accept it or deny it. Okay, if you accept it, great. They'll hold it for 30 days. We did not accept our first offer, we declined, and then we got a second offer. Now, once you get your second offer, if you decline your second offer, then you will be put back on the wait list, and you'll have to wait, I think it's 14 days before you receive another offer. It's either 14 or 30 days. But either way, you have to wait before you get another offer. So we went ahead and we accepted our second offer, which I'm glad we did because we ended up in a great neighborhood, a great street, great distance from his job. So we live on the Air Force side of the base, but he of course works on the Army side. So he's happy that he gets that separation from work and home. So that's a plus. But it's very important, you guys, that you call in that 30-day window. So the first tip is getting on the wait list ASAP. Call 30 days out so you can start receiving housing offers. They can only hold your house once you accept it for 30 days. So after we received our amended orders, my husband immediately went to transportation, booked household goods, booked our flights and everything. So when you're traveling Oconus, the military will pay for your flights. Again, I'm not sure about CONUS, PCS's, but I know Oconus, the military does pay for flights. They even pay for a flight for our 1-year-old, which was a great advantage because we were able to take her car seat on the plane. She was in her own seat. She was comfortable. She wasn't cramped up in our laps. Us having to toss her around during our long 8-hour flight, which we'll get to in a second. I don't know. I may do a separate video to kind of talk about the flight and some tips and tricks to help with your OCONUS flight. I don't know if y'all want that. Comment down below and let me know. If not, if you kind of want to wing it or just wait, I don't know. But if y'all want me to do that, then I can, because again, after the experience, there are some things that I would do the same, but there are also some things that I would do differently. So again, if you all want that content, just let me know and I can easily do another sit down video and get that info out to y'all. I just don't want to make this video too long. I want to get straight to the point. So our flight was bomb, okay? So we flew from Dallas, Texas to Seattle, and that was like a 3.5 hour flight. And then from Seattle, we flew into Anchorage, which was like almost right at 4 hours. It really wasn't a bad flight. If you're one of those mamas that travels extra, like I am, I had sound machines, I had snacks, I had extra milk in a thermos. I had everything I needed just because I wanted to be sure that my daughter was comfortable, that we were comfortable. We would have rather had it and not need it than need it and not have it. And it's that type of flight. So very important. In addition to paying for the flights, the military will also pay for the shipment of one vehicle. So any other vehicles, you all are responsible for coming out of pocket to pay for the shipment of that vehicle, but they will pay for one. We decided to use my husband's truck when we first got here. So we shipped his truck from Dallas maybe 2 weeks before Household Goods came to pick up all of our items from our home. It took maybe about 4 weeks for his truck to go from Dallas all the way to Alaska. We got his truck maybe like 2 days after his Household Goods. Like it was around the same time, not too far apart, but maybe like 2 days difference, I believe, a day or two difference. Y'all, all that was a blur. We were just so ready to get all of our furniture into our house. But again, that will pay for the shipment of one vehicle. You're responsible for anything else. Our timeline went like this, boom. So we got on the housing wait list in September. We got our hard orders amended the first week in January. The last week in December, I called Jber. I got us some offers. We went ahead and accepted our offer that week because we knew we would be arriving the last week in January. Household Goods arrived to our house Thursday the 20th. They packed everything up that Thursday, loaded the trucks up on Friday, shipped everything off. Yeah, this is where it gets sweet because, sorry, there's a plane flying over the house. So we were super blessed to have a smooth PCS experience. Outside of the EFMP sabbatical, we were smooth sailing after that point, after we had our orders amended. We left that Monday to go back home to visit family for about a week. On Sunday the 29th, we were on a plane headed to Alaska that morning. We arrived in Alaska that evening. It was maybe about 3 or 4 when we arrived. Got a hotel, got our rental car. And yes, those are things that the service member can get reimbursed for. If your service member does not have a government travel card, then you can pay out of pocket and the military will reimburse you. Or if they have a government travel card, you can use the card for those kinds of expenses and then they'll reimburse the card. So either or, that should be no money out of your pockets. But we arrived that Sunday and our house was ready for us to move in that Monday morning. So when you arrive at the housing office to accept your keys and sign your lease, there is a short briefing. It's probably like an hour. I said short. It seemed like we were waiting way longer than an hour, but I think the brief was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, where they just kind of talk to you about like the rules of the neighborhood that you're moving to, the housing rules and everything like that, like when to put out your trash, what type of things you can be fined for, quiet hours, etc., those types of things. And so after the briefing, you sign the lease. Here is where you need your hard orders. So y'all, imagine if I had waited until we got the hard orders amended to get us on the housing list. I would have been so mad. Oh my God. But when you come in person to sign your lease and pick up your keys, that is when you give them your hard orders. We got our keys that day and we moved into our home. Y'all, you will not believe this, but when our household goods left Fort Sill, Oklahoma on January 21st, our stuff arrived here in Alaska on February 6th. That was a Monday. They called us the Friday before to schedule drop off, what time they would be by, etc., etc. But our household goods made it on February 6th. So that's like 3.5 weeks of waiting. Luckily, we were not without our household goods for too long because again, we left on Monday after everything was packed up. We were back home in Mississippi for like a week. And then yeah, we didn't get to Jber until the 30th. So we were only without our household goods for a week, y'all. Like a week. Yeah, it was like a week. We were in our house for a week without our household goods. So with that being said, it is very important to get things done ahead of time instead of waiting to the last minute. You know, we were again super blessed because even though the EFMP situation held us up, like we were still able to get here, get settled without having to be in TLF and without having to fork out any extra money for a hotel. Another tip, another thing that I want to throw in, you guys, call ahead of time to reserve your rental car for when your flight will arrive, and also call ahead of time to reserve your hotel. I called 2 weeks before we left Fort Sill. I called the hotel on base here at Jber, and that is when she informed me that there was no availability, no rooms available. So what they'll do is they'll send you a non-availability letter for that service member. That is the only way that you can get reimbursed for staying in a hotel off base. But yeah, we were literally, the only obstacle that we faced, you guys, was the EFMP, and I hope that our experience will help some of you all have a better experience, especially with that step of the PCS process. If you are PCSing to Jber anytime soon, I'm sure you're excited. If you're like me, you're nervous and you don't know what to expect. It is a very beautiful base. It is a well-kept base. It's high security. I love it. I feel safe. The city of Anchorage is a very beautiful city. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to see. There's a lot of places to go. There's a lot of restaurants to eat. For some reason, people outside of the military think that Alaska is only like igloos, and I'm like, really? So you think all of us live in igloos? Cool, okay. But y'all, I promise, it is a great experience. So far, so good. We've only been here 3 months, but we're still liking it. There's a few adjustments. So with my daughter, we had to put room darkening curtains in her room in order for her to be able to nap during the daytime. But already it is mid-April and the days are already longer. So y'all, the sun doesn't completely go down until like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock. And it's super hard for me to fall asleep right now. So of course we have to get some room darkening curtains for our bedroom. Again, my daughter, she's all set. But that's something that you need to invest in, y'all, is some room darkening curtains. I don't know what we're gonna do about this room and these high ceilings, these high windows, especially here in our stairwell. I don't know what we're gonna do when the summer hits in the hours, in its 22-hour days. No idea. We're gonna just go with it. We're gonna wing it, take it day by day. But I suggest investing in some room darkening curtains. Also, make sure you stock up on vitamin D. I had to go to 3 stores before I could find some vitamin D. So yeah, make sure you have that, especially in the winter time. I didn't get the SADs this year, probably because we came toward the middle end of the winter. We arrived like at the end of January, so luckily we didn't have to experience the long winter months from like October all the way through now. But be prepared. Make sure you layer. Make sure you have snowsuits, gloves, hats, I think they're pronounced balaclavas, the facial covers, especially for the kiddos. It helps keep their cheeks warm. Yeah, make sure you keep wool socks on deck, y'all. Wool socks were lifesavers for us when we first got here, especially if the inside of your boots get wet. Wool socks are a lifesaver. Make sure you have wool socks, y'all. I'm gonna put that on the screen 3 times. Wool socks, you need them. Okay, don't let people convince you that you don't need all the extra layering, because the thing about living here in Alaska is if you know how to dress for the weather, if you're dressed for the weather, if you're comfortable, if you're not cold because you layered and you're dressed for the weather, then the cold doesn't bother you, the snow doesn't bother you. And that's the trick. The cold only bothers you if you let yourself get cold, if you haven't protected yourself from that weather. Okay, so that's the only thing that makes it uncomfortable. Other than that, you guys, I hope that the information that I gave you all was super helpful. If there's anything else that you all want to know, leave a comment down below, ask questions down below, and I'll address any other questions that you all have if I can. Again, I'm only using our personal experience. You all can use the, is it meal.connect site? You can use that site to access a lot of other resources for your Jber PCS. There's a lot of official military information out there. Use that information also, you guys. Not just what's on YouTube, not just what other people tell you, but try to do your own research and get some facts. Get some facts behind, you know, what you're doing before you start the process. That way you'll know what you're up against and what to expect. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, y'all, I feel so weird doing the in-person video, but I hope it turns out good, and I hope that this video helps. So if you haven't, please like and subscribe down below, and hopefully you all stick around for more of my videos, more of my content, because of course there is much more to come. So thank you all. Have a good day.